Okay, it's 3 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The proceedings of this meeting will be recorded and made available on the internet. I'd like to go to item 1.2 of our agenda, which is roll call, and ask our clerk, Jesse Clark, to please call the roll.
Thank you. Mayor Lamsett, are you present?
I am present.
Deputy Mayor Armstrong?
Present.
Councillor Franzen?
Present.
Councillor Braybrook?
Virtually present.
And Councillor Cadigan.
Present.
For staff, we have Donna Taggart, CAO Treasurer.
Present.
Adele Arbor, Planner.
Present.
Chris Jones, Planning Consultant.
Present.
And Jesse Clark, Director of Corporate Services Clerk, is present.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now go to item 1.3 of our agenda, which is land acknowledgement and moment of reflection. We respectfully acknowledge that Trent Lakes and Peterborough County are located on the Treaty 20 Mississauga territory in the traditional territory of the Mississauga and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaty First Nation, which include Curve Lake, Hiawatha, Alderville, Scugog Island, Rama, Beausoleil, and Georgina Island First Nation. Trent Lakes respectfully acknowledges that the Williams Treaty First Nations are the stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. We will now take a moment to reflect on these principles and our duties and responsibilities as members of council. Thank you. We can move on to item 2 of our agenda, which is the approval of the agenda as circulated. I would entertain a motion for same. See Councillor Cadigan for a mover, Deputy Mayor Armstrong for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. We can move on now to item 3 of our agenda, which is disclosure of pecuniary interest. Does any member of council have a pecuniary interest on an item on the agenda? They can disclose it now or anytime during the meeting prior to discussing anything on the item that you have an interest in. I'm seeing no hands. We can move on now to item 4 of our agenda, which is our closed meeting. I would entertain a motion to go into closed. Councillor Franzen for a mover. Want to get that guy online in here. Councillor Braybrook for a seconder. Now we are going to go into closed under the authority of the Ontario Municipal Act, section 239(2), to discuss B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, contracted persons, municipal employees. D, labor relations or employee negotiations, municipal employees. E, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, an OLT hearing, zoning compliance and legal advice. And F, advice that is subject to solicitor client's privileges, including communications necessary for that purpose. OLT hearing and zoning compliance legal advice. And I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion is carried. We are going into closed. Okay, we can move on to item 4.2 of our agenda, which is rise from closed meeting. I would entertain a motion for same. Seeing Councillor Cadigan for a mover and Deputy Mayor Armstrong for a seconder, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, we can move on to item 5 of our agenda, which is business arising from closed meeting. I don't believe we have any, so we can move on now to item 6 of the agenda, which is bylaws. Item 6.1 is to appoint RSM, the personnel, the chief building official, deputy chief building official, and inspectors. Does anyone like to speak to this item, or is anyone prepared to make a motion? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go
I'll
ahead.
make the motion to approve that bylaw.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that bylaw? I see Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Any further conversation about the bylaw? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. We can now move on to item 7 of the agenda, which is the adoption of the confirming bylaw. Item 7.1 is the confirming bylaw. See Councillor Cadigan for a mover. Councillor Franzen for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. And we can move on now to item 8 of our agenda, which is adjournment. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn? See Councillor Franzen for a mover. Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you very much, council. Thank you very much, staff. We can, anyone in the gallery? virtually.